You're watching KATU News on Digital.
Hello there. Welcome to today's Digicast. I'm Sarah Bagby, joined by Joe English.
Hey, good day to you all. Thanks for being with us.
We're so happy to see you here today on this Wednesday. And what's the date?
It is Wednesday, July 9th. Is that correct?
So sorry to do that to you. I
It's
wanted
the
to see if you knew better than I did.
No, it's the 10th.
We should have looked at
It's almost Christmas, as we like to say.
That's right.
The
we're
10th already.
Less than 6 months from Christmas. Yeah. And we're just now getting out of this huge heat wave
finally.
that we were in. That was awful. Yeah. We are still going to be in these warm temperatures, but not quite what we had yesterday, which we're hitting records all over the place. But
yeah, so we are out of our storm tracker weather alert for you.
Yes,
so,
officially now. Yeah. But we didn't get through this unscathed. There were a lot of things happened over the last couple of days.
Yeah,
we
not
had,
good things.
6 suspected heat-related deaths in Oregon alone. We have Vancouver banning campfires and recreational fires.
Right, and this includes backyard fires. This is on your own property. You just can't have a fire pit going anymore, at least for the time being. Yeah,
no
probably
burning.
through the end of the summer.
And then Amtrak had a train lose its AC on a trip from Eugene to Seattle. Can you imagine? That's about a 4-hour ride with no AC.
Right. Riders were saying it was just miserable. But they also were not told that the air conditioning was out before they got on the train, even though Amtrak maybe knew that. They could have given them some warnings. So there are some issues coming up with that.
Exactly.
A little investigating to do.
And we'll be covering that all in our evening news today, so check that out for sure. And then, of course, now that we're out of this heat wave, we have a little bit of a breeze, which is great for us as human beings, not so great for the wildfires during the season. So, Joe, you've been covering this all morning. Tell us about that.
Yeah, especially the newest one and maybe the biggest one we've seen so far, North Central Oregon, the Larch Creek fire. We could get winds blowing this afternoon, 20, 30 miles an hour. Not unusual for the gorge or North Central Oregon, but when you got a fire burning, that could be trouble. Of course, it's hot and dry, still under a red flag warning for high wildfire danger. So the Larch Creek fire, about 5 miles southwest of Duffer, started Tuesday afternoon. Don't know the cause at this point, but the 2 main causes for wildfires, people and lightning. And we have not seen any lightning, so there's got to be some other reason. More than 7,000 acres has burned. We've got crews on the ground, crews in the air, special Type 3 management team that comes in when these fires start to get big and perhaps out of control, that comes in and makes a new strategy. So that's what they're working on today. No buildings have burned, but there have been evacuations, and they have told some other folks to get ready to evacuate depending on where this fire goes. So with that wind blowing the flames around, it doesn't take much. They're burning a lot of grass and some trees out there in that area.
Wow, we'll be following this for sure and tracking it. Tonight we're having people go out there and tomorrow morning as well.
Right, and we should tell you real quickly, if you do have to evacuate, Maupin High School is for people. That's where the Red Cross is setting up an evacuation site, and the Wasco County Fairgrounds is where people can take their livestock.
Oh, right, okay, very helpful, thank you. Also, even during hotter days like what we've been going through, we have the story where PGE is now going to be in control of people's thermostats. Can you believe this? Now, people have the choice. If you want a discount, that's how it works.
Right. It might sound a little scary, but this is part of their smart thermostat program. This means PGE will turn up the temperature in about 200,000 households. Customers who opt into the program, they get a discount, but they'll also allow PGE to raise the thermostat in their home by 2 or 3 degrees during the peak heat times on these hot days like we've seen. Now, this will alleviate some of the pressure to the grid.
Programs like Smart Thermostat and Peak Time Rebates absolutely make a difference to the grid, right? We saw that last summer in August when we had 3 days in a row of 90 megawatts of reduction in demand on really hot days.
Wow. Well, customers who are enrolled in the Smart Thermostat program can override the temperature change, but if you do that on more than half of PGE's peak time days, you will lose the financial credits. Do you think you would risk it? I think I would try.
No, might as well. Might be worth a few dollars. Yeah, you may not even notice the difference.
Yeah, but again, if it's 104 degrees out there,
you might.
You might. So yeah, and that's when they're doing it. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll be following up on this, of course. Now, speaking of saving energy, new electric buses are coming to Portland's TriMet.
You know, this could make a big difference. Much quieter, I would imagine, and putting out a lot less pollution. This is all thanks to a $39 million investment from the federal government. The U.S. Department of Transportation says the money will buy hydrogen fuel cell electric buses, also a fueling station, and make other facility improvements to support this new bus fleet of the future.
And the Department of Transportation says about 80% of these buses will run on zero or low emissions technology, and the money to fund this comes from the bipartisan infrastructure law. Now, this is just one of more than 100 public transit projects around the country. And you can imagine, I mean, with climate change and all that, every year
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going to have to add more and more of these
A
types
lot
of
less
things.
stuff going in the air.
So pretty cool that we're doing that, and it's not just us, it's around the country.
Yeah, and the thing I'm looking forward to, if they're electric and they're quiet like the cars are, when I'm out doing a live shot in the morning,
Oh, right.
garbage trucks and buses, for some reason, the tone and the timbre and the pitch of the noise they make just goes right through my earpiece, and I can't hear the control room and people talking to me. So
We can't
maybe
hear
that will
you.
help. Yeah.
When you
Oh,
have
right.
those loud,
You gotta wait for them to go by.
Exactly. Good point there.
Just it's entirely selfish, but you know that's
well, I
it.
can't wait to see these new buses.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So, Joe, I know you've been doing the news for quite a while, as
A
have
few
I.
years, yes.
Back in the olden days, when you watched the news, there would be something called a kicker at the end, a really cute story.
Right, the last story.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
saving the
always
best
like
for
to
last.
do that. Exactly, because you don't want to have a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
So we have something really cute.
We're gonna
for
do that
you.
today.
Exactly. So a Bend Wildlife Hospital is giving 2 orphaned river otter pups a new lease on life. Just last month, an Oregon State Parks ranger, Tyler Banks, found 3 otter pups in a ditch at Cove Palisades State Park. That's just north of Smith Rock. Now, one died shortly after being rescued, but the 2 others were taken to Think Wild in Bend.
And once the otters are stabilized in Bend, they'll be transferred to the Wildlife Center of the North Coast. That's in Astoria, and then eventually, hopefully, released into the wild. And Think Wild in Bend says it could take months, it could take even years of rehab before they're returned to the wild. These guys are just weeks old, really, right? Is
Yeah,
that, or
they're
months?
just a few weeks old.
yeah.
I think there's 2 little baby females left.
Yeah,
They had dirt
so-
in their eyes and a little bramble in
Oh,
their
and just the
fur.
cutest faces regardless, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're just learning how to get along, and so they don't want the otters to associate with the humans as being
Right.
a source of food, that kind of thing, so they wear camouflage, the humans do, so that the otters don't make that personal connection, because, you know, watching otters, they have personality galore.
They
right?
like humans.
Yeah.
That's the thing
They
that
just
I
wanna
think
play
would
with
be
anybody.
hard. You know, if you take that job to be a rescue person, you love animals. How hard
Right.
would it be
To-
to be not bonding with these adorable little pups?
Right,
I'd want to take
right.
one home, but they're doing a really good job. Gloves,
Yeah.
no smell and everything. But
And we'll certainly keep up to date on the progress, let you know what happens.
absolutely, I can't wait to see as they grow up. But anyway, we enjoyed having you here today. Thanks for joining us. And just a reminder, we'll have our 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and 6 o'clock shows. In fact, we're going to be covering the Oaks Park lawsuit. There's a new one, no surprise there. So we'll be covering that in our
Surprise.
shows today. And of course, updates on the always going on Trump and Biden campaign. There's always something new there, so we'll be covering
Right.
that as well.
No surprise there, and certainly keeping you up to date on the Larch Creek fire, more than 7,000 acres in north central Oregon, burning through today. Probably several days before we get a handle on that, but we'll let you know what happens out there.
Yeah, scary. Anyway, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you again here tomorrow. Have a great day.
This has been a K2 News Digicast. K2 News is on your side.